Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Kleschka Picks. Last week in football was wild. I cannot wait to get into it. Roll the intro. I hate that we have to start the week with this Thursday game, but Chargers and Raiders, I'm immediately giving this matchup my mid-matchup of the week. So early in the video, and when we talk about the mid-matchup of the week, we don't talk about it long. The Chargers, they will lose Justin Herbert for the rest of the season. He suffered a finger injury and will not play anymore. Ethan Stick takes over for the Raiders. They lost to the Vikings in probably the worst game I've ever seen. The final score, 3-0. Unbelievable. Anyways, straight to the point with this one. I think Chargers still pull off this victory, 20-13. Vikings and Bengals. The Vikings were on the winning end of that absolutely horrendous, boring game. And the Bengals, they pulled off the victory against the Colts. Looks like Jake Browning, the more he plays, the more he's getting well adjusted to the NFL. And for the Vikings, that is not the case for Joshua Dobbs. They moved him to the bench. They're going to bring the backup and start him. And I think that is not going to change a damn thing. I think the Bengals are rolling right now. I think they are finally finding their feet under Jake Browning, and I think he's going to continue to roll against a Vikings team that has had a lot of problems this year. So give me the Bengals winning 27-10. Colts and Steelers. The Steelers lost last week to the Patriots, which was surprising because the Patriots offense and the Patriots as a whole have been very bad. And the Colts, under Gardner Minshew, have kind of stepped into that Jake Browning situation. He was a backup going into this, and he's actually led the team pretty well. The defense has been pretty solid. And for the Steelers, with the loss of Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky going in, it has not been good, and the offense has struggled all year. I believe we will see that again against a tough Colts defense, and I think it still will be close. But I think the Colts defense being stronger and the offense being more consistent is going to be the reason they win. I think it's still kind of close only because the Steelers defense is pretty good. But give me the Colts winning 21-14. Broncos and Lions. The Broncos beat the Chargers last week in Los Angeles. And the Lions, they lost to the Bears. What happened there? I don't know, Lions. Are you starting to hit this late end of the season struggle because the games you've been playing recently haven't looked as dominant as they did at the beginning of the year? Unlike the Broncos, where the more the season goes on, the better they've looked. And I think that'll continue this week. I think Russell Wilson and that offense is such on a hot streak, and their chemistry is finally starting to get interwoven and look stronger than ever. So give me the Broncos winning this one 27-23. I usually never do this, but I mean, come on. I'm doing two mid matchups of the week. We have the Falcons and the Panthers. Falcons lost to the Buccaneers late in the game. The Panthers really never got anything going against the Saints and took another L. And I think this week it'll be the Falcons beating the Panthers 24-16. Bears and Browns. The Bears did win last week. They did have a good game against that Lions team. Very surprising. And the Browns, they beat the Jags. Trevor Lawrence did play. He was a little banged up. But then on the other end, you got aging Joe Flacco, who stepped into the quarterback position and won the damn game. That is what has been the story of the Browns all season. They've been rotating quarterbacks, a revolving door, but it has not stopped them. They have been winning. They've been still looking good, and I think they're going to continue to look good. I think the Bears come back down to earth. I think Joe Flacco and this offense have already learned how to work with each other and play off of each other, and I think we are going to see the Browns win this game 30-13. Green Bay and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay won late in the game last week, and Green Bay, they lost to the Giants Monday Night Football last week in a competitive battle against them. This week, I think we will see the Green Bay Packers look fine. I don't think that loss last week will impact them too much going up against Tampa Bay, who gives up quite a bit of points, and I just think the Packers and their offense are going to be better throughout four quarters than the Buccaneers will going up against the Packers and their defense. I just think at some point the Packers will get a key stop in their defense going up against Tampa, and I think that the Packers and Jordan Love are going to run straight through adversity, and they're going to find another win for the team, and I think the Packers win this one 30-24. Dolphins and Jets. Both of these teams had strange games last week. I told you it was a weird week. We talked about that super low-scoring game between the Raiders and Vikings. With the Jets, they destroyed the Texans. Now, C.J. Stroud did suffer a concussion, but Zach Wilson was balling, and he was kind of like, do I want to go back into the starting role? When they asked him, he was like, I don't know about this. Should I? I'm not really sure. And then the Dolphins, man, the Titans shot themselves in the foot, not once, but twice, with like 4 minutes left in the game, and they did not capitalize. Their defense stepped up, stopped the Dolphins, got the ball back to the offense, and the offense scored both times and won the game. I couldn't believe it. I don't think that'll be the case this week. I think we see the Jets return to normal. I think the Dolphins are still going to go crazy. Tyreek or no Tyreek, I think the Dolphins offense will be dominant once again against this Jets team, and I think the Dolphins win 31-17. Giants and Saints. The Giants beat the Packers last week, and the legend of Tommy DeVito continues to grow. His agent looks like he's running an undercover mob industry in the city of New York, and they had the Saints, who took care of the Panthers pretty easily. Most teams do. And this week, I think that'll not be the case for the Saints. I think the Giants defense is actually pretty solid. And with the way the Italian mobsters and friends of Tommy DeVito are rolling, I think this Giants team has only looked better since he stepped into the role. I think it has allowed Saquon Barkley to finally shine and get back to his dominant role as running back. And I think it will be a close one because the Saints actually have a pretty decent defense. But I think the Giants better overall with offense and defense. And I think just how hot DeVito is right now is going to continue against the Saints. And I believe they will win this game 24-20. Texans and Titans. We talked about the Titans pulling off a miraculous win against the Dolphins. And the Texans, they will most likely be without C.J. Stroud this week. They've already had the huge hit to Tank Dell, who's out for season. So this is going to hurt them even more. And I think it is going to be a reason to why their game is going to be hugely impacted with the loss of those two players this week. The Titans, they got Derrick Henry. He's obviously been dominant for years, and he's coming off a good game last week. And Will Levis, he has that dog in him. He has that attitude. He has that fire to compete. And I think with a weakened Texans team, the Titans are going to be able to take advantage of that. And I think the Titans pull off this victory 27-20. Chiefs and Patriots. The Patriots won last week, but the Chiefs, let's talk about that game. They lost to the Bills late in the game. And the play that will not count, but I am going to remember it. That Travis Kelce lateral was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I watched it live. I was losing my mind. But unfortunately, a flag on the play killed the play. And it was offsides, Kadarius Toney. I said if it was just a hair, let it go. But I'm sorry, Kadarius Toney. You were so obviously offsides. The refs could not ignore it. And Mahomes obviously did not take it well, as you can tell by what he said after the game.
Take away greatness like that. I mean, for a guy like Travis to make a play like that, it's the call, man. Just in that moment. I mean,
and like he said in his press conference, the flag, it ruins the legendary career of Travis Kelce. One of the greatest plays will never be remembered. Here's the thing, Patrick. They threw the flag at the start of the play because obviously Kadarius was offside, so they're throwing it right away. You snap the ball, they throw the flag. You hadn't even thrown the ball, my guy. How are they supposed to know that play was going to happen? Anyways, it has been an abysmal season for the Patriots. It has been terrible for them. And the Chiefs, they have been on a roller coaster this season. It has not been the dominant Chiefs we're used to. They've had some bumps in their road, but I don't think it'll be a bump this week. I think it'll be a nice, smooth, paved path for the Chiefs. And I think we're going to see them take care of the Patriots no problem. Put that game from last week behind them, and I think their offense goes crazy. I think they return to form, and I think the Chiefs beat the Patriots 40-20. 49ers and Cardinals. Cardinals were on a bye week. The 49ers took care of my Seahawks no problem. Unfortunately, I don't think the bye week is going to matter much for the Cardinals. We all know the 49ers are one of the most dominant teams in football right now. Offensively, have some of the most dominant weapons with McCaffrey, Debo, Purdy. They are are balancing each other out and making each other look good every single week. And defense led by Fred Warner. He is a great captain for that team defensively, and I think they are going to have an overall good game here, overall dominant game against the Cardinals on both sides of the ball, and I think they are going to take care of this no problem. I think the 49ers win 30-19. Rams and Commanders. The Rams lost last week heartbreakingly to the Baltimore Ravens, and the Commanders were on a bye week. Even though the Rams did lose last week, we are seeing this team mesh and look very good with the young weapons that I've mentioned every week, with Kyron and Puka and Matthew Stafford leading them, growing them into the NFL. And I think they still are going to look very good here against the Commanders. I don't think they are going to be looking I don't think they're going to be looking even worse than they were last week, because last week they didn't look bad. I mean, they had a good game, but it was just a shootout and the Ravens got the last laugh. I think the Commanders are going to be right there with them, but I think as we get into the second half, I think they will start to slow down. I think the Rams will speed up and keep pace and just have a better 4 quarters overall, and I think they will win. I think Rams get this one 27-20. Cowboys and Bills. We talked about that Bills game. They won late in the game. They were competing with the Chiefs all game long, as they always do. They always play great games between each other. And the Cowboys, oh my goodness, they are looking scary. They won last week against one of the league's best teams, the Eagles. Dak is looking great. He's looking like an MVP candidate. And the Bills, like the Chiefs, they've had a roller coaster season. For the Cowboys, it's been smooth sailing pretty much. They've had great defense. They've had great offense, and that equals a great result on the field. And I think we are going to see the Bills run into problems going up against this Cowboys defense. And I think the Cowboys offense is going to be able to run and stampede their way through the Bills, no problem. So give me the Cowboys staying hot and winning this game 31-27. Ravens and Jags. The Jags lost last week to the Browns, and the Ravens, they won against the Rams. Walk-off punt return in overtime. Very exciting. The Ravens have looked good all year. They have been very good with their young core and their ground game. And I think this week, with a banged-up Jags team and the Ravens looking hotter than ever, I think this Ravens team is going to handle them with their offense mostly, and their defense has also been one of the top ones this year in football. So I think with those two combined, it is going to definitely take care of the Jags. It is going to quiet them down, and I think it will be a close game, but I think the Ravens, just like last week, get that last laugh. So give me the Ravens winning 33-27. Eagles and Seahawks. My Seahawks, they lost to the 49ers last week, and the Eagles, they were destroyed for the second week in a row, this time by the Cowboys. The Eagles have been very cold, but if there's a team they're going to get it back on track against, I feel like it's my Seahawks. I just feel like we have the tough schedule. We had the Cowboys, Niners, Eagles, and then next week we have the Niners again. So it is not a lot of fun for the Seahawks right now. We've been competitive in those games. We didn't lose by much to the 49ers. We had a great game against the Cowboys, just came out on the wrong end, and I think that's going to be the case here again. I think we're going to compete. We're going to look good. But when it comes down to the final quarter, that's when the Eagles are going to pull away. They're going to separate, and they're going to get back on track. They're going to look like the dominant Eagles team we had seen the whole season before they hit this giant bump in the road. And I think it is going to be a sad day as a Seahawks fan. Once again, I think the Eagles beat us, and I think they win 30-24. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for watching this Kleschka Picks. It's going to be hard to beat how crazy last week was in the NFL. If you made it to the end of this video, I'm going to give you 3 options. Tell me what you think the craziest thing was. Was it the Mahomes, Kadarius Toney offsides play? Was it the Dolphins allowing the Titans to beat them after it seemed like that game was clearly in the grasp of the Dolphins? Or C, the low-scoring game between the Raiders and Vikings? Out of those 3, which one do you think is the craziest? Like the video, subscribe, tell your mom, your dad, your grandma, your grandpa, your pets, your friends, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, everybody you know, to hit that subscribe button. For Austin Kleschka, I got this, you got this, we all got this. I'll see you next time.